Hey, this is Matias, and if this is your first time watching one of my videos, welcome to Venture Out. Here we try to make sense of Rioplatense Spanish, and recently I've been doing a bunch of videos in Spanish, so I wanted to touch on this topic in English so everyone can follow these ideas regardless of the language they speak. Today we are going to discuss a very interesting topic, a very relevant topic for anyone who is learning a foreign language, and it involves the grammar, your tutor, and input. Actually, it's based on an article I wrote some time ago, which is titled The Role of Grammar, Your Tutor, and Input. So, of course, we are going to be touching on those three subjects, trying to understand how they fit in any foreign language learner routine. Let's start off by discussing grammar. I think when it comes to grammar, there are two opposed views. One that thinks that all challenges in a foreign language resolve with grammar, and the opposite side, which thinks that grammar is useless when you want to acquire a foreign language. My point when I discuss this with students or when I think about this topic is that grammar is a necessary ingredient, but of course it's not the sole ingredient that will make every magic happen. I feel that grammar has the power to guide your learning in a way that helps you identify patterns, for example. I am convinced that patterns are a very, very powerful way of getting better at a foreign language. When you start noticing patterns, it means that you can then replicate those patterns and benefit from following them instead of creating everything from scratch. And also, grammar is a great tool because it enables you as a learner to deal with the language in a more abstract way that is usually necessary. Basically, the point I'm trying to convey in this video is that you will get much more from leveraging these three elements instead of focusing only on one. That's why I think that a tutor is part of the cake, but it's not your hero in your language learning. You are your own hero in learning. Of course, a tutor is valuable, especially since he or she will be your primary language model, and that gives you the opportunity to be exposed to real language in real life. So, of course, a tutor can provide that for you, as well as guidance in terms of maybe some grammar that can sometimes be obscure, and also guidance in terms of what's important, what's not important. Surely, when you are choosing tutors, you need to consider your learning preferences and you need to see if that person matches your expectations. It's very, very important that you are a good fit for your tutor and that your tutor is a good fit for you. It works in both ways, and I have experienced great synergy from working with students who are in tune with my style, and I've also adapted to the learning style of other students, but communication is an essential part of the relationship you establish with a tutor. And last, input. And in a way, input wraps grammar and whatever you are doing with your tutor into one piece, because the idea behind input is to have exposure to real language, more or less the same idea that I shared when I was discussing the importance of your tutor. But input has so many doors that you can tap and explore. It's very, very common to see students diving into native content and doing so in a passive way. So they develop great passive skills, receptive skills. They can read the language very well, they can understand spoken language very well, but they can't get to the same level of skills when they need to write or when they need to speak the language. And most of the time, this has to do with this balance between how much you are listening, watching videos, listening to podcasts, or any source of natural input, and how little or how less you are investing in using that in a way that you engage and become involved in some personal transformation of the resource that you are using. So what I'm trying to say is that you can't ignore grammar. You can't, or you can try, but I think it's a good idea to explore a foreign language sooner or later with the help of a tutor, and you need input, because today we have more access than ever to resources that had not been available before, and that gives us much more independence in a way. But independence is not about doing whatever you want, but making a plan, as efficient a plan as you can, and sticking to it. So the key takeaway from this video is that you should include these 3 elements if you want to make progress and be accountable for your progress too. I'll leave that article I mentioned in the description box, and I would love to hear from you. What do you think? What works well for you, and what have you discovered in your language learning journey? Thanks for watching, and I look forward to having you in my channel soon. Bye bye. Take care.